Water security in Saudi Arabia, or water scarcity in Saudi Arabia, is one of the limiting factors to the food production. Cereal grain have been imported to compensate for the water deficits. Water consumption in Saudi Arabia, it's about 23 billion cubic meters, of which 20 billion cubic meters are consumed for agriculture purpose, accounting to 87% of the total available water to Saudi Arabia. If we compare that to the worldwide, it's a 71%. So 71% of the water being used in the world goes to agriculture. What is the role of agriculture? The role of agriculture, 1, improve food security. 2, promote economic growth. 3, water optimizations. We don't have enough water. Worldwide, we don't have enough waters as currently as we're going the way we're doing it now. And government social responsibility. Employment, poverty reduction, depopulations of the rural area. Let's talk about the first one, food security. What does it mean? Well, we go with the FAO definition for the food security. Food security, that is, food is available at all time, that is, all persons have means to access, that is nutritionally adequate in terms of quality, quantity, and variety, and that is acceptable within the given culture. The number of underfed, malnourished, sorry, I cannot twist my tongue too fast, people in the world rose to over 1 billion this year, from 915 in 2008. World Bank Economic reckon that the number of people living on less than €1 per day will rise to 89 million this year. Agriculture and food security have become the core of the international agenda, as the G8 call it. We go to the second one, economical growth. Most recent development strategies emphasize development as the main source of economic growth and were partially against the agriculture sector. Agriculture sector, they argue, which I disagree with them, of course, that is, cannot stimulate growth. However, if we look at traditionally, agriculture economists consider that growth in the farm sector provide food, raw materials, labor, capitals, and foreign exchange necessary to finance subsequent growth in the rest of the economy, while stimultaneously growth in the rest of the economy. At the same time, generate an additional demand of the industrial good and service. One of the major factors of the growth in China was to liberalize their farming sectors in the rural area and the small villages. Water optimizations. In the GCC country, particularly Saudi Arabia, it was decided that giving the impending water shortage, it will stop producing wheat by the year 2016. And instead to grow it and ship it over from elsewhere, provided that the whole process was firmly controlled, not on promises. You cannot invest billions of dollars on promises or on a leased land. The idea is to secure deal, particularly by Islamic country, by which they will supply capitals, input in exchange for guarantee that their cooperation will have access to the farmland to be able to export some of the products to Saudi Arabia. I know that it's very difficult. Most of the African countries have got their independence in 1950 and in 1960. Land issue, I cannot cover more than President Rawlings have already covered the land issue. But you got to understand, I'm talking here about two different hats. As a large investor, and we're talking about a small stakeholder investment. Corporate social responsibility. CSR is a concept whereby company integrated social and environmental concern in their business operation and in their interaction within their stakeholder on volunteer basis. If I remember, and Minister from Malawi, he will tell us more about it. That is, Malawi have used CSR donation to the small stakeholders, and they became an exporters of food. It is about capturing the whole set of value, issue, and process that company must address in order to minimize any harm resulting from their activity to create economic profit, which is social, which is people, environment, which is planet, value. Employment, poverty reduction, depopulation's rural area. The objective were food security through self-sufficient and improvement of rural income, thereby minimizing internal migration from rural area to urban area. What are the opportunities? African governments have committed to spend 10% of their budget on agriculture, mostly to build road, subsidize input such as seed and fertilizer, give special help to the poorest smallholder as a kind of safety net, and to improve in the operations market, sometime to improve, sometime to control. This is not my information. This is from The Economist, 2009. To summarize what I want to say here, food security is not only about food. It is about security, chronic hunger, threaten individual, threaten government, society, and border. 70 countries in 2008 have faced a major riots, all because of the food problem. And things are going to get a lot worse, believe me. Agriculture development is motivating factor to narrow the gap, where CSR, which is corporate social responsibility, can be implemented in an effective way to the development need for the rural suburb area, i.e. unemployment, food security, poverty reduction, and improving qualities of life, reducing the imbalance in regional development, and rationalize water usage. It is easy for any politicians to make big roads and big cities and big building on the urban because he have a lot of self-satisfaction. But to build a small road in villages and rural area, nobody will knows about it. So it's easy to develop the urban and to forget about the rural. I am wrapping it up here, which is my conclusion. Food security is the political aspect of agriculture development. Agriculture is one of the most effective tools to promote growth and improve people's standard of living. To highlight the neglect of agriculture, as I said, the world and the World Bank have forgot it. Development, we take an example. The World Bank lending in 1980 was 25% loans to the agriculture. In the year 2000, can anybody take a guess? What was the number in 2000? 10%. It went from 25% to 10%. That's from 1980 to 2000, in 20 years. Economic development is a sustainable boost in the standard of living of the people of the country. It implies an increase in the per capita income of every citizen. It also leads to the creation of more opportunity in the sector of education, healthcare, employment, and the conservation of the environment. Central government must not give all priority to urban area, but must balance it with the rural development. I will summarize my talk here with a little advice to the President. We have been proposing many times, in order to protect the sensitivities of both countries, that is, we create a public company in that country, let's say in Ghana or in Sudan or Egypt, and that public company should be owned but whatever percentage between the people of that country and the private sector of Saudi Arabia. We don't want no governments, because government then they could rule over it. We want the public. And this way, the land will be sold directly to that company. So they could not say, well, you know, you're taking here, you're taking our countries. And you have to understand, wheat is the new weapon of the world. They will make sure, the industrial world, the wheat producer, that they have wheat, because if you don't have wheat, that means, or rice, that things will go to a crisis. What a wonderful tool to have in top of everybody's. But do we have an opportunity? Yes, we do. We have an opportunity to act, and to act now. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. And I'm happy to take any questions.